Salam all of you. Having seen certain metallurgical processes in the extraction of iron, copper and zinc, all those were part of pyrometallurgical process. So now what we will be doing is, we will look into certain electrochemical principles that are involved in these cases. So what do we mean by electrochemical process? This will involve the usage of electrical methods or electricity to identify compounds which can be isolated and purified. In these cases, one thing has to be seen, that this process is employed if the metal compounds are quite reactive in nature. So this involves a formula that we have studied, my delta G is equal to minus N E naught F. What do these factors say? Delta G indicates Gibbs free energy, the change in Gibbs free energy. N is the number of electrons which will be involved in that particular electrochemical process. E is the electrode potential that is involved, and F is called the Faraday unit. Now in these cases, remember we had studied one factor yesterday, that delta G should be negative if the reactions have to be spontaneous in nature. If delta G is positive, those type of reactions will be non-spontaneous. Now once again, when we see the equation, delta G is given by the negative factor of N, F and E. So in this case, F value is a constant of 96,500 Coulomb or so. N is a number of electrons which will naturally be positive. So if this entire factor has to be negative, then compulsorily E naught value has to be positive in nature, which will mean that a combination of electrodes should finally give you a positive value. So what are the examples for this? This can be seen by understanding certain simple examples that we have studied in the earlier classes. If you remember in the earlier classes, supposing if we had a copper solution, Cu2 plus indicates any solution, it may be a copper sulfate solution or a copper chloride solution. If this is reacting with a metallic form like iron, this reaction will only be possible if iron metal is more reactive than copper, because in this case this metal now should displace copper metal from the particular solution. So what could be the possibility of the product here? It will be Fe2 plus copper metal is obtained. Remember that the reverse of this reaction is not possible, because copper metal is not more reactive than iron. So copper cannot displace iron from its solution, whereas as you see in this reaction, iron can naturally displace copper because of its better electrical conductivity. So as an application, we see these in our metallurgical process in extraction of aluminium. So what has happened till now is, we have studied those elements which are generally D block elements, where we have gone for high heating procedures to obtain the metals. But in this electrochemical method now, we use this methodology or this basic concept to understand for extraction of aluminium. How does it go about? So for that, first let us just see the diagram for this entire reaction. In the diagram that is visible to you here, we have an iron system or an iron blast furnace which is present there. In the same diagram, you are able to see a molten aluminum oxide which has been kept in the system. Molten aluminum oxide is also mixed with trisodium aluminum fluorine compound. This is also required because these type of compounds, it will increase the conductivity and it will also decrease the melting point of the compound, so that the melting point required for this aluminum oxide can be reduced and thereby it can easily be obtained. So here when we see, we have cathode and anode. We know very well that cathode is negatively charged, anode is positively charged. So in these cases what we see is, all these aluminum ions which are positive ions will go towards the cathode, and the oxygen which is part of this aluminum oxide, oxygen being gaseous in nature, will go to anode. Remember that anode here is made up of graphite, which is nothing but carbon. So carbon will react with all the oxygen and it will go away. Whereas all the aluminum will be obtained on the cathode, which is taken place. So this is the explanation of the diagram that we have for this method. Now let us see for some reactions which are seen. So in this case, the overall reaction that takes place here is given by Al2O3, which is the aluminum oxide, which you have got in a crude ore form by various methods. This is treated with carbon metal, which is a reducing agent. Now, please remember that we had done the reactions of carbon in the form of coke with, say, iron, with copper and zinc. But here this reaction doesn't mean direct reaction of coke with aluminum oxide. This means that this carbon is nothing but the anode graphite which is taken. This is only possible in electrochemical process because aluminum is pretty much reactive. So what are the products that we get then? Once this reaction happens, pure aluminum is formed and the byproduct that you get is carbon dioxide. Once again, looking into the balancing of these reactions, we have 2 aluminum on the left hand side, so this becomes 2Al. We have in total 3 oxygens, but here the quantity of oxygen is 2. So as we already know by certain mathematical process of HCF and LCM, we can rather use this as 2Al2O3. Thereby we can settle this carbon dioxide oxygen to 6. But then what happens is we need to balance the aluminum here. In total it is 4 aluminum. Here we have to bring it back. And carbon here should be balanced with the 3 carbons that are present. This entire process we happen to call it by a name as Hall-Héroult process. So these were the 2 scientists who worked on this method. So what are the reactions that happen at anode and cathode? That is also an important aspect from examination point of view, where they tend to ask for the reactions that happen at anode and cathode. So in the first place, what is a cathode? Cathode is a negative electrode. So what happens at the negative electrode now? A negative electrode will attract positive ions. We are quite aware of unlike charges being attractive to each other. So what happens in this case? The aluminum ions which are there, these aluminum ions, it will take in the electrons which are present and thereby form the aluminum metal. You get this aluminum metal. Then what happens at anode? Remember that anode is made up of carbon. So there are 2 possibilities here. One is this carbon reacts with oxygen to form carbon dioxide, or this carbon may react with oxygen to form carbon dioxide. Whatever carbon monoxide is formed, the excess of oxygen that is present will also give you further carbon dioxide, and that is why when you write the reaction, the byproduct is only carbon dioxide. So this is how the entire electrochemical principle is employed for the extraction of aluminum metal. Another example of this electrochemical method is extraction of copper. Now remember that we have studied extraction of copper by using roasting method, by using pyrometallurgy method using high temperatures. This is another one such method where copper ions which are there, supposing if you have a copper sulfate solution. Now remember that in the electrochemical series, copper is pretty much less. So what this can happen is, it can reach out very well with hydrogen gas, react with hydrogen gas, and this case leads to formation of copper metal, and hydrogen gas is released out as its corresponding ion. As an example, if I take it here, suppose if I have a copper chloride solution, if I react this with hydrogen, I can form copper metal and 2 molecules of hydrochloric acid. This method can also be called as hydrometallurgy because this sort of method requires ions to be formed in solution system. But always remember that removal of metal from an ion is only possible if the reacting compound, be it a metal or a gas or any element, should be compulsorily be more reactive than this form. This is all we have for the electrochemical principles. Thank you. Sai Ram.